Good afternoon, I'm Naseem Saeed, and I'm joined by the story writer and lead actor of Held by the Past, Matthew Cox. He is here to talk about his thought process in writing the film. Thank you for joining us, Matt.
It's a pleasure to be here, Naseem.
Our main question for you today is, in what ways does your film use or develop challenge forms and conventions of other films out in the market today? I want to break this down into parts for you. In what ways do you have this in mind when you're writing the story?
Well, the first thing I was thinking of when I was writing the story was I wanted something different. I wanted a crime action film, but I didn't want the kind of gung-ho, macho hero of films like Taken, James Bond and Bourne. These protagonists didn't make me feel like they had any normal lives outside of work, or it just wasn't believable, so I wanted to write something that was believable and the audience could relate to in even the smallest of ways.
Can you give us a general plot overview for our fans at home who might have forgotten how it develops and challenges conventions?
My idea was to have a vigilante, a civilian in normal life who strives for justice and asks for no praise. Britain at the moment is falling prey to an ever-increasing amount of crime, with the police becoming less and less part of daily life. Cliff, our protagonist, is a normal guy who works a normal job. He's an army veteran, working what seems to be a life that anyone else would have. During the rest of the day, though, he stops crimes and catches criminals on his own, either as they happen or taking jobs from people who don't want the help of the police. He is approached by MI6 to help them take down a secret organisation who is silently pulling strings in the highest of places, with the intention to bring the country down to its knees, starting World War III, and they're taking over. This is all development because the protagonists of action films don't usually have another side to their life, which I and many other people don't find too relatable.
How does Cliff develop and challenge conventions?
Cliff both challenges and develops it in how he deals with his demons that exist in his past. It is revealed at the start that his brother was taken hostage while serving in the army in a fictional Middle Eastern war, while Cliff escaped. There were no demands made and no info was released, so after a couple of years all hope was ever lost of him being released, and he was presumed dead, and Cliff always blamed himself for not saving him. Later on in the film, we find out why Cliff was picked by MI6. He finds out that the leader of the organisation is his brother, who was radicalised soon after being captured. He then works with him as a double agent, sabotaging the plan gradually. A convention of a lot of action films is to have the protagonist dealing with his past and not being able to cope with it most of the time, pausing at critical moments, etc. and finally letting it destroy it unless he fights back. We challenge this convention in our film. Cliff manages to deal with these demons well, a life of partial normality aiding him to do that. But when his brother arrives back in the picture, all those memories he's been repressing are unleashed, and it makes him question his loyalties, and he starts to become increasingly less and less involved with the plan. So he begins to fight a battle on two fronts, physically and mentally, with their two sides fighting each other.
Thank you, Matt. Well, that's all we have time for. We'll see you next week.